Hello, I am Centimus Prime, and here I will be unboxing, building, and then reviewing another one of the Blokees Transformers Galaxy version Wave 1 mystery boxes. So starting off, we will be taking a quick look at the package itself. So first off on this side, we do get a nice look at the Blokees Optimus Prime for this wave. Does look pretty good. Up here we do have the Blokees logo. We do have Transformers Model Kits Experience. Up here we also get the title Galaxy version. Here's the number indicating that it is indeed Wave 1. Have rollout right there. The approximate number of pieces per box. And, of course, mystery box. In the background, we do get a look at the Autobot logo in the background. So that is neat. Pretty neat. Down here, we have the 40 Years of Transformers logo, and of course the authentic Transformers genuine license. Down here we also get a warning, choking hazard, small parts, not for children under 3 years. So yeah, pretty simple stuff. So we turn it 90 degrees, and it's pretty much the same as on this side, only this time we do get a nice look at Megatron here this time, as well as a look at the Decepticon logo in the background. Very neat. But aside from that, the layout's very similar. Taking a look at the top, not much going on up here. We do get the Blokees logo again, as well as the 40 Years of Transformers. Moving down to the underside, that's what the bottom of the package looks like. Okay, over here on this side, we do have stuff that you would put on the back of your packaging, and you also get a image of a 1:1 scale of how big the Optimus Prime Blokees figure is for this wave. And turning it one more time, we do get a look at all the figures, all the potential figures you couldn't get for this wave of mystery boxes. And in terms of which one that I want to get for this time, I'm really hoping for the Optimus Prime, but I'm fine with the other ones. I'd be okay with getting a Jazz as well. But yeah, I'm hoping for an Optimus Prime from this one. And one more thing to mention for this box, it does have a really nice rainbowy holographic effect around for the packaging, which is really neat. I feel it does help it stand out in a store shelf and help catch your eye. So yeah, it does. I do feel that this holographic effect does look very, very nice. Sort of reminds me of them holographic Pokemon cards or something like that. Something you would see like that. But with that, let's now get into the unboxing itself. And so what we can do is we can lift this. You can carefully tear that open. And after we lift the top up, we do get some wording here saying "soon coming." And after we unfold this and lift this tab up, lift this flap up, we do get a look at a couple of characters that are going to be soon coming in like the second wave. That would be soon coming in the second wave, of course being Starscream and Grimlock. And once you lift those two flaps, you do get a look at the contents inside. So let's go ahead and pour this out, pull this back up, and set this off to the side. Now let's get into the contents itself. So, like all of these mystery boxes of the first wave, we do have included a instruction, a little folded instruction thing, which unfolded does show you the assembly instructions. And here we go. And on this side we do have a simple construction of the standard like Blokees body, as well as various steps. Here we do have Optimus Prime in full display. Very nice as a demonstration on this. Very, very nice. And over here on the other side, we do have steps, various steps that are more specific to each character. Like the Seekers have some unique steps, Megatron has some unique steps, Jazz has unique steps, and the Dotsons have a unique step. And of course down here we do get a look at some blast effect pieces and how they attach. So yeah, very, very neat. And with that, let's now get this bag open and find out what character I got this time. Got that open, and moment of truth. Let's pour this out and okay. So I think I got, this looks like Ironhide. Here we have like Ironhide's like the cardboard coin thing. Here's a barcode on the back. I'm just gonna set that off to the side. Of course, opening this one. Here, in this second bag, we do get the base plate as well as the sprues, the parts of the sprues, and the parts of the sprues here. And the sprues here, pretty neat. But the whole Blokees things, I have seen from various Blokees packaging that they from what I've seen on Blokees packaging, they do kind of encourage you to break the to basically snap these out with your hands. Of course, you can just use the nipper, the nips, the snippers, the cutters, and cut them out that way. But they do encourage you to, but Blokees does encourage you to just snap these away because they do snap together. Because they actually have designed them so that you can just break them away and not have to worry about the sprue, or having to worry about breaking this apart as you're doing that. And so what I broke away from the sprue is one of each of these hinge pieces. And how these work is you basically grab one of each of these hinge pieces, one with the mushroom peg and the other with a peg hole. And what you basically do is you basically just attach these two parts together like so. Boom. And then we have one of our joints. And of course you are going to repeat that step 3 more times. So here we do have 3 more of these joints assembled, and of course I have already broke the parts away from the sprues. So there we have those parts. We do have our hands, our shoulder pieces, our knees / elbows and or elbows, and of course our random little Autobot / Decepticon logo things here. Just going to give you a look at these right now. Not a whole lot going on with those. We do have a another blast effect piece included with Ironhide. Makes sense because Ratchet also came with one. But with that, we can now start the assembly. So we can take our torso, equip on 2 of these ball joints, 2 of these shoulder pieces onto the ball joints. Boom and boom. Pretty simple. We can then slide this part into here. Keep in mind these circular tabs, they will fall into these slots like so. I said like so. So do keep in mind with these tabs. After that, we can then fit the chest on, and that just tabs in like so. After that, we can then attach our ball joint. It does require a tiny bit of extra force. What we can then do is attach these panels onto this piece right here. Boom, here's a little bit of printing here. And yep. Then after that, we can attach the lower body onto the torso, making sure that the side with the printing is facing forward. Okay, moving these off to the side so we can then work on the legs. So for the legs, we'll grab the thigh, take one of our pieces, like one of our joints like this, just snap one end into the thigh and the other end into this lower leg piece, like so. We can then attach a ball joint into this hole right here, connect another one of these clear ball joints. Boom. And then snap this ball joint into the foot, the socket joint in the foot. Just snaps in. And then after that, we can grab one of our shin pieces, and with that, we can then just clip this part into this rounded piece right here. Very sad. And just hear that. Nice satisfying sound. It feels nice. It's a solid connection. Do like that. You can then, of course, mirror the legs. And there we have mirror the other leg. Mirror that for the other leg. And there we have that done and dusted. Now let's work on the arms. So for the arms, we'll take one of our bicep pieces, take one of our shoulder pieces, and what's going to happen is these round tabs here on the shoulders, on the shoulder joint, is going to slide into these grooves right here. So making sure that this lines up. Not too difficult. We can then take another one of our our joints and attach one end into the elbow. And we'll attach one. This is the elbow. We'll attach one into the upper arm, and then we'll take one of our forearm pieces, which are mirrored. There is a slight difference between each one, and it really depends on whether or not you want the side with the connector port outside, facing away from the torso, or facing in. I'm personally choosing facing away from the torso, so I'm just going to grab this one, and I'm basically going to connect this other end into the hole in here, attaching it like that. Now you can see that this hole is basically facing away from what will be where the torso is going to be. If you want it the other way, if you want to give it like a cleaner look and want this side showing, you just use the mirrored part for that. Okay, but then after that, we're going to take one of our hand pieces and just connect the ball joint into this socket joint right here. And do it like that. And of course, you can then mirror that with the other arm. And now let's quickly put together the head. Here's the head itself, and here's the helmet. And what's going to happen is, much like the shoulders, these two tabs here on the side of the head, getting a close look at that, you basically see those. Well, just like the shoulders, there's two grooves in the helmet design right there, which we can then slide in very easily. Then after that, we'll do our final assembly. Attach the hips, connect the legs to the hips, the arms to the shoulders, making sure that is a solid enough connection. And of course, can attach our head, give him the gun, slap him onto his base plate, and here we have Ironhide already built up and ready to go. Very neat. Very cool, very cool. Very cool. So, now on to the review portion of this. So, let's first get a closer look at his head sculpt, and oh my goodness. Interesting. So, like, his face sculpt is fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. It's the printing on the eyes that looks off. Look at that. The blue printing on his eyes is misaligned. And so parts of the blue, so some of that blue is instead on his forehead rather than the eyes themselves, and the eyes do look very off. That's... That is... And you can see that there, you can see like on Ratchet that this is basically how the eyes are more so supposed to look, even though it's a slightly different sculpt. Even though it's a slightly different face sculpt, you can definitely see that something is definitely off with his eye printing. The helmet, though, does look very nice. Does have that sort of kinda looks like a mohawk thing right here. That looks fine. Looks pretty good. So yeah, very odd. Moving down to his torso, I am liking the printing here, however. It does look very good, very good. Mold wise is very much the same as Ratchet, only this time we do have an actual like windshield here, and it does appear to be cracked along the side of the windshield. And we even do get some little like lights and stuff picked out in yellow. Very neat. We even have the printing showing through the torso and the printing on the arm, on the like lower body armor. Very nice. Arms are very much your standard Blokees like arm. Very much your standard Blokees like pieces. Like builds. Very nice. Your standard fist, your arm. I am liking to look at the red bicep. In relation to the rest of the arm. Does make it look a little less plain. Do like that. Turning him around, here is a good look at what he looks like from the back. Very clean and a good bit of details to it. Yeah, very nice. Very cool. Yeah, pretty neat. Legs. They do look pretty good. They do look pretty good. I'm liking the red feet. The red feet looks nice, and the shins look pretty good. Yeah, very nice. Quickly moving on to articulation. His head is, like, articulation-wise, is identical to Ratchet. So yeah, head does have good expression, can turn around all the way, can look up a tiny bit and down pretty much not at all. Arms are pretty much the same. It does have that double ball joint thing in the shoulder, so you do have good range in that. Can move out, bicep rotation, bend at the elbow, expressive ball joint at the wrist, so you can play around with that. Unhindered 360 waist rotation. Ball joints at the hips, so they can kick out to that far, kick up to about that far, and kick back to about that far. A above the knee swivel, a bend at the knee, and a ball joint at the ankle. So you do have some good expressive motion out of that. Overall, articulation, pretty great. I am liking the articulation of this figure. Pretty nice. You even can pull off like a good pose like this. So let's move on to accessories. Included accessories, does come with a red version of the gun that Ratchet came with. Very neat. Yep. He also comes with this base, like all of them, they do come with this base plate piece, which what you can do is you can, if you have more of these, you can just attach these onto each other. You can just link these together and play around with that connection. And you can, of course, attach them onto the base plate. That's fine and good. But something else I've recently found out is that these holes right here are meant for the blast effect pieces, which we will take the one that is included with Ironhide and just plug that in, and there you have a little bit of storage. It does not work with any of the other accessories and parts, but yeah, there's like extra there's like extra things you could do with that. And as far as like what you can do with this like hole right here, the only thing I find that this was able to connect to is this is actually able to like connect to the neck part of the torso. You can actually connect the torso onto this part. So there is some interesting connections with this part that I might want to play around with. Who knows? In terms of other accessories, right now he does have a pair of fists in, but we can of course remove those and switch them out for splayed open hands. Just pop those in, and you can basically pose those around the same as the fists to provide extra expression in his poses. You did get one for the other hand as well. So you can play around with that. Let's of course reattach his fist so we can attach his gun onto his other hand. And then after that, we'll take the included blast effect piece and just clip that over the gun barrel like so. And there we have Ratchet with his gun shooting up into the atmosphere. Yeah, pretty cool. You can, of course, play around with the posability. Very nice. And other things he comes with, he does come with an extra clear ball joint piece. He comes with a spare ball joint piece in case in the off chance that you might accidentally break and or lose these things. You have a spare one. Each one of these comes with a spare one. So even if you have multiples, even if you have multiples of these with broken parts, you can utilize the ball joints. So you can switch out the ball joints, and it'll be no big deal. But as far as how would we use these for the figures themselves, for display alongside the figure if you have them on standby. An extra use that I've found for these is you could just plug these into the hands and you can basically pretend it is a microphone. So there is that use at least. Yeah, very cool. And we've already touched upon these, but connected to each of the two joint sprues, we do have included a couple of these Autobot and on one side and Decepticon on the other side. These little extra pieces that these things just come with. And things you can do with these, you can either plug them into the hand, like so, or you can attach them to the forearm, like so. So there is that. So you can play around with those, but haven't found a whole lot of uses for these. Still pretty cool though. Still cool to include. So let's plug this back in, and now let's talk some size comparisons, shall we? So standing him straight up for some size comparisons. Here he is next to my Siege Centimus Prime. Like I said, my Siege Centimus Prime. That's how tall he is compared to that. To a Voyager. Here he is next to the Studio Series 86 Bumblebee. He is of course just about as tall as Bumblebee right here. And of course we can bring in the other Blokees figures that I have accumulated. Boom, 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 and boom. And take a look at that. Yeah. Well, these look pretty neat. Pretty neat. Very nice. In terms of height, he is the exact same height as Ratchet right here. So there is that. I'm actually... Maybe... And heck, an extra benefit for these Blokees figures, if you want to play around with the joints and things, if you want to play around with like color schemes and stuff, these parts are fully compatible with each other. So if you want, you can like give Ironhide's red biceps and attach him to, and like give them to Blue Streak to give him that extra little bit of red. So there are things you can do with these Blokees figures amongst each other. So that is pretty cool. Unfortunately, I did not get the Optimus Prime that I was hoping for. But oh well. The figures I got here, still, like, very neat, I think. Still, like, very neat. Very cool. He does pose pretty well. Does pose pretty well. Good, very nice. Can pose extremely well. And just bringing back these figures for a second, and considering like my over, and so yeah, this looks nice. So now let's get into my overall thoughts for these Blokees figures. I like them. They're pretty neat. They're fun to pose around, and they are satisfying to put together. And the idea of switching these parts around and like making some weird combinations with these, absolutely a-okay. Absolutely fine. Very nice. Unfortunately, didn't get all of them. Obviously I wasn't going to get all of them, considering I only got 6 boxes. But yeah, the ones that I didn't get, I still want to get that Optimus Prime. The Jazz would be kind of cool, and the Jazz and Prowl ones would still be kind of cool, though. But yeah, in terms of if I want to get more of these, I think I might in terms of the Wave 1 boxes. I do want to get the Optimus Prime. I do still want to get the Optimus Prime. But in terms of the other waves, I think the other waves has some interesting characters that would be nice to get a hold of. And heck, even if I do get duplicates, even if I do get a bunch of like duplicates, I'm sure I could find some way of putting those duplicates to good use. Okay. And so this has been a pretty interesting like experience. These Blokees figures are, and overall I do like them. They pose really nicely. They're fun to put together, and of course, their cross compatibility with each other is always very fun to mess around with. And overall, I do recommend at least getting like a couple, I think. Because I think that because at least having a couple of these would be at least interesting to play around with. And with that, I think that'll be it for this video. If you liked this unboxing and review, consider to like and subscribe, and maybe even comment if you want. And of course, I will be posting again sooner or later.